what happens when you're an empowered woman. That means you have a secure attachment. Your 1 year old, your 3 year old, all of your child parts are yours. You're in a restorative embodied self, aware, and your emotions are awesome. And you know your left and right. Okay, so that's what we get to do over here with personal development, securely attached people, and those who have healed and or are working with a great therapist and or who want to work with their emotions. I'm attachment trauma informed. I'm pseudoscience lady though, because I'm a 5D mystic, so woo woo too, and in the Enlightenment Soul Age group. So it's very fun to get here for some of us. Those paths to enlightenment, it depends on you, and we're going to talk about relationships right now. So the fiercely lovers, the fiercely loving, those of us who fiercely love, we do so through our words, through our emotions, through our actions. Okay? And that's why we know sciences and spirituality, they come together. This is a 5D collective, Christ consciousness, it's oneness, integration. Okay? Sadhguru. When you are no more in pursuit of happiness, you are joyful by your own nature. Then your action is as the world needs it, not the way you want it. And if you remember spirituality, true spirituality is living a life of meaning and connection beyond the solo self, which I get to learn all about through all of my trauma and attachment courses. And that's why a safe haven, secure-based person, which is what a healthy self-worth woman like myself is, I regulate my nervous system. I am a person who goes out and explores the world. So I'm my own 1 year old, 3 year old. That's why I'm an independent lover and I'm not attaching. So I enjoy you for who you are. And if you don't like me, I will be potentially sad and blue because we will not be connecting. And sadness is the emotion of connection. But emotions last 90 seconds for those of us who have integration of the brain. And I teach you that inner growth mindset. So you're taking emotional accountability, awareness, self-regulation seriously, and your chit-chatter, and you don't make up an excuse of, I'm going to stay in apathy. You get to know how not to stay in apathy. You get to know how to get out of loneliness. You get to know how to do all of this. The ones who are saying it's hard, they are not the ones that come to do personal development or self-help. They're the ones who, if they want, they can get good therapy. And then if they continue to say, no, humans, we're all fucked up. So, because my therapist said that I'm doing a great job with journaling and mindfulness and meditation, why should I spend time there? I'm just going to keep the rupture going on. Okay. So that's where I call them teenagers. Okay. So when you hear me say teenagers, it's a maladaptive child behavior. It's a negative cycle. I won't be motivating myself to get out of my not securely attached body. And I will use my pathology instead of knowing that behavior is not to be pathologized, but to be understood. Thank you, Janina Fisher. Okay, so when somebody brings to me the excuse of their rumination being hard, I'm going to know Tara Brach to advise them so they can get out of their limbic system and into their prefrontal cortex. I'm going to know how to let them know about good therapy. I'm going to let them know how they have a choice to give meaning, yes, to themselves in life, because that's what life is. So empowered women, men and days, science is spirituality. We see people saying monotheism is why sciences exist. Well, not really. And then again, yes. But, are we competing? Is this what, pedestals are only for people who need to confirm because the right mode isn't comfortable with dealing with the unknown, uncertainty, and unwanted, and having two separate ideas sit together and leave it alone and just leave it alone. Why? Because nobody has the truth to everything at all. So you can bring to me what you're wanting me to feel more important. Yeah, no, I'm not. I'm the Jacob with the Isaac, with the Abraham personalities. I'm objective, and I know you're telling me your preference. I have a preference. It's called the infinite higher human conscious potential experience. You see it right here. It's choosing love right here. Your inner child comes out to play. So fiercely loving women, men, and theys, we do not go and say, they broke my heart. Oh my gosh, all of these people, their betrayal. Okay, so hopefully that's clear. When betrayal happens, you know what we do? Data point taken. You get upset, X, Y, Z, D, F, G, and I'm attachment trauma informed, so now I know the 3-year-old who knows what happened at home, and I'm like, wow, they need Terry Real. They got unfinished business. They don't know how to love themselves first. They don't know how to talk about their feelings. They don't even know how to talk to me, and let alone to themselves, because they're not even noticing that they get talked to like that at home. They need Patrick Tian too. Okay, so having said that, the ones who come on over to personal development and self-help, they're the ones who, again, know how to love themselves first. So we know what fierce lovers are. They're not the ones who are running on their sympathetic. that is a very small energy. So let me again finish with Sadhguru. I don't remember if I read all of his quote, but I'm going to repeat it even if I did because I'm getting sidetracked with my brain. When you are no more in pursuit of happiness, you are joyful by your own nature, which is what restorative embodiment is like. I have it right now. Then your action is as the world needs it, not the way you want it. Yes, the needing, I'm going to say that it's because you don't distort. So when I see somebody distorting, like monotheism is the only reason science exists, that's a distortion. Also, it's a way of telling somebody, a community, we are the reason why that is. Okay, so you'll easily, if you're an integrated brain, notice that people will have preferences, and that's not good or bad. But what does the world need? So in my opinion, the world needs more securely attached human beings who become conscious lovers. That way, they can be safe haven for themselves and secure bases, and then they can have fun and build bigger relationships. What bigger? Well, I shouldn't say bigger. Bigger energy is what I'm thinking about. As a 5D mystic, Peter Pans who become actual grown-ups and stay Peter Pans, but they actually have the capacity to enjoy life. And that supports people. When you know how to regulate your nervous system in the human love narrative, is what I'm going to call it. And that's because you're reflective, but you're also participating with the knowingness that you savor. You savor that moment, they savor that moment. Here we're going to read our lovely Bill O'Hanlon, LMFT. It's not enough to ask people about a positive experience. It's about savoring that experience and getting them to stay with it. So, what a true lover is a person who always savors their relationship. That's what an empowered woman can tell you about love. Never once have I lost love because it's in me. And when I remotely even doubted for a little bit of that whole loving stuff, it's usually because of a lot of ignorance on the attachment trauma information side for me. And 4D, they're evil, ignorant, and they all need good therapists. They're not evil because of a demon or a devil story. No, they're evil from Michael Stone's forensic criminologist scale. They just don't end up in prison. But they're spiritual bypassers. They're the mantles of mental health. So they think they're superheroes and they have a supervillain that they will talk about, like the narcissist or the psychopath. They go around telling you God's testing you with the narcissist. So those are people with mantles. The mantles also of yoga. The ones who say, I got rid of the energy vampire, those are mantles. They have a superhero cape. They're on Elsa's journey. They didn't get home to their 3-year-old and they're coming over here. No, they won't come over here. Because I will let them know, you know what? I have Jesus in my back pocket. Christ consciousness is called 5D. You don't have to be here, but don't come tell me that somebody is not deserving of love or light. What are you doing? I'm in favor of forgiveness. Not because I owe it to anyone. It's because I'm flawed and imperfect like anyone else. And I'm not going to cast a stone. I was casting stones as a child because I got taught the words good and bad. And my own brain was able to say, yeah, the grown-ups had to teach you something so you would be able to know what's okay to do physically safe and what's not okay to do physically unsafe. That's because I got a child-centric environment. So I already know what love safe is because I learned how to share space beyond a solo self. I have a twin, so I got lucky. I got a home. I got a welcoming, united home. Let me grab some props because I love my props. And in fact, we have a new one. But this, a home that unites and welcomes. And here's what you want when you're a true lover is an excuse to spend time together. So I'm translating. Coffee is an excuse to be with you. And that's because in Naples, Italy, we love our coffee. In fact, there's a movie. There's two different movies. One if you go to the south of Italy, and one if you go to the north. And in the north, they give you alcohol. I forget what it is. It's grappa, I think. In the south, they just fill you up with coffee every time you go. Hey, here's some coffee. So it's funny. If any of you want to know the names, let me know. I love being bicultural, but I'm a world person, so I'm not only my cultures, which regular listeners know about. Wait, here's another one. So this one I really like too. Life happens, coffee helps. Not too much of it though. We want it in moderation. I learned that. And I have another one. Just since we're sharing, good days start with coffee and you. So again, Fiercely loving is when you want to be around each other and talk and spend time, not because of neediness, but because of pure savoring. So you can't savor if you're afraid that somebody's going to kick you to the curb. And that's from in here, people who are not empowered. Okay? And so when you are not able to be the authentic self of you, okay, and so you don't know how to love yourself first, one, as we discussed, you haven't reclaimed your inner angel, your little inner child. So we want to reparent that inner child. We want to be there for the people who want to do this. Every person has humanity in them. So the mantles of mental health and the mantles of yoga, they piss people like me off because they don't know what they're talking about. So science and spirituality, they come together like this. Smart people know that. It's why they don't believe about yoga bringing demons out of you. They're going to look into it. A smart brain investigates, not by saying, I'm going to prove I'm right. No, I'm curious. The ones who need to prove they're right, they are going to be very clear to smart, empowered woman, man, or they. That's because we don't get fooled by the 7 of 14 charming. The only ones who get manipulated are the same inner children who are leading their lives by confusion. And that's because their nervous system hasn't learned to become regulated. They can learn how to regulate by noticing my words, my inner war is not true. This negative chit chat, inner critic, outer critic, my projecting is not true. My feelings, I know in here I'm going to go and get the good therapists that are out there in 2024. I'm not a piece of shit. Before a person seeks support for themselves, they have to have a little bit of room for self-love. This is what actually will get a person who needs help to maybe get on the path to their healing. And that's really sad. Okay, so mantles of anything, they quote unquote piss off a person like me, but I ain't gonna go doing anything because anger means correcting. There's no correcting when you still see 3D, 4D spreading rumors and you understand that those states of consciousness, while when Sadhguru shares that we're not able to affect them, we're not here to affect them, he shares it in his spirituality way. I, in the Enlightenment Soul Age Group and Attachment Trauma Inform, will share with you, thank you, Daniel Siegel, that integration of the brain is a process. Restorative embodiment and you returning home to yourself also process. And as the neurobiologist, neuroscientist, and good mental health professionals have been teaching me in all of my courses, a person will be choosing this. If they have a negative pattern, they will continue to choose it if they don't want to get better. And as I've seen on YouTube, those teenager Cuscos, I'm just going to stay this way because we're all fucked up. They just look like little teenagers, which I didn't even, as a teenager, I never wanted to be a part of any of those groups. I'm like, wow, they're all divided. Aren't we just one big happy family here? What's the deal? Aren't we supposed to? We're from all parts of the country. We're, my American high school. We're military brats. And I was like, why would we separate each other like this? And all of those groups, they stay in those groups. So the group mentality, for some people, it continues. For some of us, instead, we're a human world, our humanity. And when it comes to, again, fiercely loving, fierce lovers don't love from a hypervigilant nervous system. You are not going to love me if you need me to reassure you that you're one of a kind. You're going to be seeking approval. Those are two different feelings. I'm not trying to get you to give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down. In fact, don't give me either. If you treat me like that, I'm going to start saying, what do you think? I'm your kid? Well, what is this? I don't even ask my mother for thumbs up, thumbs down, and we have our debates. I'm an independent human being. 1-year-old, independent because I got lucky. Okay, but a person, when they're chit-chatting and they're doing this, they will notice, if they want to, how they're treating another human being. And that's where we're going to just leave that to the side and close out with, because I really wanted to share about how an empowered woman will fiercely love through her words, her actions, and her emotions. It's that we appreciate people for who they are. You're giving me a gift when you share with me your authenticity, when you share with me the heart of you. As for romance, you can't give me a flower or 2 or 3. You can bring me a flower every day. That's not what's going to be romantic at all. If you are not an open heart, there's nothing going on between you and I. You're closed off to yourself and to me. And I'm going to notice it. As a 5D mystic, but just in general, even as a kid, teenager. But you gain experience and you learn. So I'm 44 and I love being in the solo poly group because really I don't even know how in some of the polyamory community they have hierarchies. Fact that you would put anybody on a pedestal tells me that you don't know your 1 year old yet, and you definitely don't know that that's completely off putting. It's not loving to have hierarchy. Hierarchy reminds me of our ancestors, which is when they were living in the middle of, in the middle of the forest and they were ignorant and stuff. And actually, excuse me, it's a fallacy. What am I talking about? I watched a nice documentary about that one, that anthropologist. It's a fallacy that in our ancient times they would have hierarchies. There's this anthropologist, I forget what his name is, but he talks about how his studies showed that in the aborigines, I think is the word, they all treat each other equally. It doesn't matter gender, sex, none of that. Actually, they're all equally valuable. In fact, they have a way to soften the heart of the boys because as they get to start hunting, some of them come with the cocky, grandiose attitude. He doesn't use that word I am because you can always tell, like with there's women that have that too. But in this case, he's talking about the boys are the ones who could threaten the balance. So when they act like they got a big catch. There's this way of criticism, but not because they were trying to put them down. It's to have them become and stay humble. So humble is in fact healthy self-worth. So a healthy self-worth woman, man and they, we will be humble, which is why we will not speak to a person with disrespect. But we will also not put up with those who are needy in a certain way. As you get older, so as I shared a couple or more stories, whether it's a woman or a man, I don't know personally any days, but when there's the love dependent who's manipulative and desperate, and it's a very specific energy, and they will switch from shame to grandiosity. Why? Because your body's protecting you. So you're only going to criticize yourself so much, feel small. You're going to want to get angry because your body's going to want to feel big. It's something that makes sense to an empowered person, how you're going to go from on and off and on and off between yourself because you're not growing up. You're just staying in it's not even a good seesaw. The path to enlightenment. The human way, become your restorative embodiment. You can choose the suffering. That's all the people who just watch movies like Hangover, Mean Girls, they go get breakup coaches, all those people. Learn to love yourself first with good therapy and actually understand if you have childhood trauma so that you can work with that and then you can build healthy relationships and actually know what love is because it's your oxytocin gene hormone when you are securely attached. And it's a journey for people to heal that childhood trauma when there is that, which is why they need the healthy self-worth people that we're building here at IHP. Community is not of people who are going to tell people what to believe in politically, religion. No, science and spirituality like this. Politics, we talk. We're smart people. We don't need to be right or wrong. We want to enjoy and not debate in a way that is of the rigid societal soul age group people. They're all in their sympathetic when they're yelling like Braveheart, and none of them are Braveheart. That's a movie. So yeah, when we meet dependent needy people, I'm going to do an episode on that one. We will not be doing let me sing you, let me cry you a river. Oh, I love Michael Bublé's version of Cry Me a River. But okay, in the meantime, so empowered men, they're really amazing. They love fiercely. Empowered women as well. And that's with our words, our actions, our day to day, our emotions. That's because we are whole and we know how to share a cup of coffee and spend time and say, hey, I want to spend some time. What are you doing? Can we chit chat a little bit? And that's every day. So you will continue to want that. It's not about a promise. And it is possible to always be on. Again, those of us who love emotions, that is. So I don't have an off button, which is why if a man ain't empowered, now I'm like, oh shit, okay, now I need to recalibrate. I'm going to go spend some time doing, something that is savoring. And it's not to be, what's the word, mean. But here's where when you are, thank you, Sadhguru, not in the pursuit of happiness, it's not because you're not happy. It's because you're joyful inside. This is what restorative embodiment integration of brain is. And it's my child parts, all of me. If I get scared, I'm okay. It'll be okay. My panic attack, it'll be okay. I'm by myself, it'll be okay. It's open heart. And the action of what the world needs, well, not the way you want it. I would love to see every person choosing to let their inner child come back up. But I know from my attachment trauma course is that not everybody has the strength. They don't have the strength. So that's for another episode. I would say everybody has the strength, but I'm biased because I don't know what it takes to be a person who hangs on a life thread and finally, comes out and says, "Oh wait, there is light." So I'm supporting and supportive of people who want to be here again. Humanity, when you overflow with it, divinity descends. It's not a divinity of any type of belief system. You're an integrated brain. Flexible, adaptive, coherent, energized, stable. Thank you, Daniel Siegel. So you use your prefrontal cortex, and therefore you're present, and that's faces. And then you're curious, open, accepting, and loving. That's Cole. And you are tuning. So I tune to you. You attune to me. I will resonate as we enjoy, and we will trust. And if you're a vibration of a love dependent or love avoidant, I will know it because you're not going to be vibing, but I will be able to recalibrate so that I can match the frequency, and you won't be bringing me down and I won't be bringing you up. We'll just exchange a chit chat. So the part about when people meet people like me, they can either expand or they will be like, I don't like her. Sometimes some people, they get offended. I don't do anything about that unless they tell me, and then I can say, I'm so sorry. I don't have anything to say except for, I'm sorry you're offended. I didn't mean to offend you, stuff like that. And that's exactly why unconditionally loving with flaws and imperfections is something straightforward, because we all can be seen because of people not feeling soothed because they have low self-esteem, indirect communication, passive aggressive, they don't know healthy boundaries, and they have the teenager Cusco attitude. So they're going to justify their maladaptive child behavior, their little chit chatter. So I'm not going to, of course, not say, I'm so sorry that you're offended. I'll say I'm sorry. Humanly speaking, that's a decent thing to do. And as a person who's empowered, I won't be saying you're right. I won't be saying you're wrong. That's for teenagers. Again, that's all the people who are adaptive child behaviors. They're all Cuscos, and that's why they're not empowered at all. So, long story short, though, as for conscious lovers, again, that this doesn't happen. Empowered men, empowered women, they're not there trying to reassure each other with that energy. They have conversations. It's open. It's consistent. It grows. And they think of each other, and that's the part. It doesn't diminish anyone who has anything diminishing. Then it means that they are, in a different frequency. Two people and more. It's consistent communication. Like the Rumi quote, you don't love with your eyes when you're a conscious lover. You love with your heart and soul, the essence of you. So I'm not trying to attach to you. I'm going to say you're beautiful the way you are. Can't cramp on my style. If I'm happy and joyful, I'm going to be happy and joyful. You can choose that human suffering love narrative. Of course, though, here's the last, and we'll close it out. For an empowered woman, we're not going to be around a person who's negative. They have a problem for every solution. I'm an entrepreneur. I'm a content creator. I believe in infinite higher human conscious potential experience in love, and that's not just today. It's to the depths of me, and the sciences helps me to share with you what well-being is. And so, you can't come around with apathy and think you're gonna, that I can accept it. But what I'm trying to say is, it's to me, I understand what apathy and loneliness are when people don't go to good therapy. As a teenager, I'm going to say I found it disrespectful to the gift of life that you're given by God. That's how I was presented by God. You've been given a gift. It's called life. I want you to be who you are. I gave you who you are. Do not envy. Do not be jealous. It was very straightforward. I didn't lose my innocence. I heard the words. I lived the, knowing that it's not a golden star, my lovely listeners and viewers. It's restorative embodiment. You go to good therapy, you get here. You continue with personal development, or you completely do it here. It's really fun, but I didn't need it to be told to me by anybody different. And Sadhguru's here. It's great that yoga is trending because that helps people's brain to heal from childhood trauma stuff. Corpus callosum grows, hippocampus, prefrontal cortex, and your interconnected connectome. Thank you again, Daniel Siegel. That's where yoga comes in, mindfulness, and meditation, because those are the three pillars of the mind: focused attention, awareness, and kind intention. Although neutrality is better when you're upset, because otherwise you're going to be bullshitting yourself. But only you can motivate yourself to get out of addictions, to get out of the fucking, the drinking, to do the I'm going to get out of the apathy because I can. Why? Because shit, why not? You got 24 hours. Why not? You don't know what's after life. Why not? the whole point of why science and spirituality. I'm going to give you the answer of Shiva. Marriage to Shiva is this. Yeah, I know. I'm a mystic. I have all of it right here. I will die and I will not know when. And I'm not bothered by it anymore because I dealt with it when it came up as a kid growing up. And I'm like, well, thank you, Marcus Aurelius. Why worry about something you cannot do anything about? So it's easy to notice the chit chatter and emotions when you're not pretending you don't have emotions and that the chit chatter is making something better. Like, again, anyway, so again, when we have consciousness always here, I'm presence. I didn't have any interruption with the restorative embodiment, with all this great stuff. You're gonna know a fierce lover. And empowered men, they're amazing because they are committed, and that's not because of where they come from. It's a person who understands the value of every day right here. It's a body, it's a brain. This is as straightforward as it gets. Now you're the one who gets to bring yourself here. And again, come on back for more. Let's build the 5D relationships for all of you who are already here, and for those who want to get here, and for men, women, and days who are looking to have independent lovers, not the dependent not the dependent ones. We're going to get to another episode on that one. So thank you for tuning in. Like, subscribe if you can. Also share. You can subscribe to our podcast audio versions. I've been sharing our YouTube content as well. So just keep an eye out for that. And we'll be back in a little bit. So thank you again.